Hi everyone, I am Mel and I am Double Pisces Tarot. Today I am doing another podcast. It has taken me a while to get this podcast going, but we are here. I did write the notes out for this podcast probably like a month ago, but I haven't had the time to actually. I don't even know why that beeped. That might have been just my car, actually. I'm sitting in my car doing my podcast, as I usually do. Anyways, as I was saying, I did write these notes out a while ago, like a month ago, but I haven't had the time to actually do the podcast. I was going to do it last night, but my microphone was out of battery. So I needed charging. So today's the day. It didn't really affect me that much. Maybe I was supposed to be focused on something else at the time, which I ended up doing, and I ended up just relaxing. So that was nice. And going through my notes again, because I did write this podcast out a month ago. So today's podcast, I haven't even actually told you what it is about. It's about overcoming loss, but you would have seen what the podcast is about when you went into the podcast for today. So today it is the 5th, I think, of January 2025, a new year. All the celebrations are over, Christmas, New Year's, the wind down of the new year, and now like the wind up to the start of the new year. But I really, really wanted to do this podcast because this podcast is something that I feel is something that is close to my heart. It's something that affects everybody in life, okay? It's part of life. It's part of life for everyone. Everybody loses a loved one, okay? No matter who you are, okay? Everybody does. It's just how you deal with it is, I guess, part of your journey also. So let's go through my notes. So yes, as I said, overcoming loss is what the podcast will be about today. I'm hoping it'll go for like half an hour. We will see. Overcoming loss of a loved one. It is just part of life. Sometimes it happens earlier in life. Sometimes you may not even have a loved one. You may not even have, example, a mother or a father when you're born. So, like, you go through your whole life without a parent, and that's going to be hard. It's a challenge for you. But I feel like when it comes to challenges and traumas in your life at a young age, as much as it does affect you through your teen stages, your adolescent, your growing up, all the way through life, I feel like it makes you such a stronger person. I feel like you grow so much more than people that haven't had these things happen to them in their lives. And, as much as it is something that's terrible and sad in your life, we will always remember these people. We will always love these people. You will always have them on your mind, okay? But you're still going to be moving forwards. It's just how you use it, positively or negatively, is what route it's going to take you down in life. Okay, so I feel like, as I said, it makes you a stronger person. I did put that in my notes. I feel like I'm such a stronger person for things that have happened in my life, but we will be talking more about that stuff later through the podcast. I'm going to give my experiences in life and what's happened to me. It does have negatives, but also positives: losing a loved one, overcoming loss. We're going to talk about now losing a loved one at a young age. So as I said, losing a loved one, you could have been born into this life without a parent. or one of your siblings could have passed away before you were even born. You don't have that connection, but once you start growing up and you go to school and there's other people there and they have families and you start to your brain starts ticking over then, I feel, and the emotions start coming out then. So even though you may not have a parent when you're born and it may not affect you so much, it does still affect you. I'm just giving out advice. I'm not a psychologist. I'm nothing like that. I'm just here to give my point of view to help you on your journey in life and overcoming loss. Okay, so don't be like thinking, Mel's saying this, Mel's saying that. I'm just trying to give my point of view to help you move forwards. Okay, so I did not lose a mother or a father before I was born. So I don't understand that whoever's had that in their life and how that's affected them. But I know thinking about it all and what it is in life, and because I lost my father at a young age, some of the things that I've had to deal with, those people that lost parents before they were even born have had to deal with too, you know. So losing a parent or a family member, a loved one, it's mostly parents or siblings, I feel. Immediate family, it's very traumatic for you. It affects you a lot. So there's a lot of trauma that comes out of it, okay? Depression, and, we'll go through all of that stuff. But, when you're young, you're trying to understand the situation, you're trying to understand what happened. Your moods change quickly all the time because you're still growing. You're a young adolescent or a child, you're still growing, your hormones are growing, your body is growing, and then your mind's growing, but then you've also got these traumas that are playing out in your life and you're trying to work those. So you could misbehave, you could be like a naughty kid at school, whatever. Even though you might not think you're like rebelling or whatever it is, you're just being you. It's like you're like a release. It's like a release. People express hurt in different ways also. So not everyone's going to be a little delinquent, Some people could go deep within and not come out. You know what I mean? So everybody deals with it differently. I feel it's just knowing, knowing someone that has had this loss, knowing that to always be there for them, for them to know that you will always be there, like as an ear for anything. You are a beautiful person for doing that because it's hard, okay? So I'm going to give my experience now on losing a loved one at a young age. I wasn't that young when I lost my father. I was 16, but we can still class it as a young age. You are in high school, you're still growing. I was still a kid. I'm 38 now, so you look back at it and you're like, yeah, 16, I was a kid. You're not thinking straight. There's so much going on in your brain, so much happening. You just want to live life. My parents divorced when I was in year 1. So, I hadn't really had my father around really anyway. I've had stepfathers around. Like I'd see my dad. My dad was always there. I'd see my dad every fortnight. I'm sure it was like every second weekend or something. But, separation, I didn't see my dad as much as, if I lived with my father. So not seeing him all the time and not having him in my life, I got used to that fact. So we ended up moving from the far north Queensland down to the Sunshine Coast here, which is an hour out of Brizzy. I don't actually live there anymore. I live in Gympie now. But we moved to the Sunshine Coast. So I was very far from my father. Most of my life, I moved to the sunny coast probably when I was 15. So for 15 years, I had my father there, all the time. And then we moved to the Sunshine Coast and I never seen him, okay? And I was 15 years old. When you're 15, you just want to party, you just want to live life, you want to hang out with your friends. You're going through those stages of becoming a teenager, your hormones, you just want to party and live life and have fun and stuff like that. And, I was just living life with my friends and partying, going out on the weekends. And I remember it all the time. It's like when I was younger, Dad would ring because you'd never see him. And then you're like, I don't want to talk to Dad for ages. It's so boring. And I didn't do it. And I regret it. But everything happens for a reason, because that was like the last time. Sorry. It's a touchy subject for me too. And, I want to help other people. I feel like I've grown from this situation, but thinking about those old memories. So yes, I was a kid. I didn't want to speak to my father. I didn't want to sit on the phone for ages. I had shit to do. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for saying that on my podcast. I had stuff to do. Okay? So I was just living life, okay? And then I went to my friend's father's place, and he lived in Brisbane. And I went there for the weekend, and he lived in the sticks somewhere. No reception, no phone reception, whatever. Anyways, I ended up coming back home, and when I got home, my mum ended up telling me that my father passed away. So she couldn't get a hold of me all weekend, so he did pass away while I was in the middle of the sticks. And, that took me down. It took me down so far, but, I've grown from it. I've grown as a person. And I always know that I'm always going to have my father there by my side, even though he's not here in this life. But it affected me. I was a 16-year-old child. I was told my father passed away. I did not say goodbye to him. I did not get to see him. I did not talk to him the last time he'd called me. And that affected me. You start thinking about the situation, and you're a kid. You're 16 years old. Like, why did I do that? And this and that. And, I did, I had to go back up there to his funeral. I went to his funeral with my brother. My sister was still living up in Cairns at the time. So me and my brother, we caught a train to Cairns, and we met my sister there, and we done the funeral. I did get to say goodbye before he got cremated. So I did get to say goodbye. I did get to kiss him. But, it's just how life is. You think about what you could have done, but, all these things are part of the lesson. I didn't think I was actually going to get so upset in this podcast, but it's actually good. It's showing everybody that even though these things do happen in your life, like this happened when I was 16 years old, it still affects me. Okay? It's always going to affect me. It's always going to be there. You're always going to remember it. And that's what you should be doing. You should always remember. You should always remember these things because it helps you be a better person in this lifetime. It helps you live with integrity. It helps you, as I said, live with integrity. Okay, so we're going to get on to the next bit. Okay, we're back. Sorry, I had to just have a little refreshment, have a breather, blow my nose so I can feel great for the rest of this podcast. Okay, hopefully. We'll see. We'll see how we go, okay? So, the next part I'm going to talk about now is losing someone at an older age, okay? So, losing someone, like, normal part of life, it is part of life. And it's just like losing someone at a young age. It is all the same. It's just a different part of your life that you're losing this person and how you cope with it. It's all the same. It hurts the same. You feel the same. It changes your mood. It changes how you act. It changes how you think. You try to understand the situation. You think about what you could have done to change the whole situation. Okay, it changes you. You shut off from people. You grieve the loss. Grieving loss takes time. As an example of me just then, I think just going back over the memories, it does affect you. And, I love my dad so much, and I'm always going to love my father so, so much. And I wish he was still here, but he's not. So I've just got to deal with it. But always remember him and always, have him in my memory and show the world who he was within myself, So, yes, as I said, shutting off, it's part of life. It can cause trauma, and it changes you, okay? Loss changes everybody, but it's part of life. It's part of our growth. Everyone ends up passing away, but it does, as I said, it gives you that like oomph of, I've got to live life to the fullest. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's go through a bit more of my notes here. With losing a loved one, we all go through the same stages, just differently. Intense longing and yearning. So, intense longing for them to come back, yearning for them to come back in a sad, depressive state of why did this happen? It shouldn't have happened. And we're all going to feel like that. This is someone that we love and care about, that we didn't want to leave this life, and now they're gone. Now they're not here to spend the rest of your life with, to spend those beautiful, amazing moments that you have in life. They're not here anymore, okay? Thinking about turning back time, thinking about what you could have done, that's just like me when I was younger. I wish I talked to Dad. I wish I didn't be a kid and was like, I don't want to be on the phone, boring. You know what I mean? It's just part of life, and We're all going to want to turn back time, okay? But these things shape us. What could have been said makes you realize you need to live now, something you will never forget. You could even have suicidal thoughts, not being able to move on from the experience. It's hard, it could be a partner that passed away. You can't live life without this person in your life anymore. Who are you going to be loving anymore? Is life worth living without this person here? Because I'm not going to love someone else ever again. These are challenges that we do need to go through, and we do need to remember, yes, life is still worth living. Even though these people are gone from your side, they're still there with you. You just can't see them, and they do want you to live your best life. They do want you to have those good moments, to be happy, to live them, to live for them, and to live for you, okay? Because this is your life. You could go at any moment just like they did, okay? And they want you to live it. They don't want you to hold back. And I feel like that's a real big message that's coming out today to me and to the collective, is to live with integrity. So, when I lost my father, I closed myself off to the world for comfort and healing. I misbehaved. I was a naughty girl, but I didn't really think of it that way. I was just living life. I just wanted to express my feelings by drinking, you know what I mean? Like it, but you're drowning your sorrows, and if that's just how it is going to be, if that's just going to be how you're going to express it, you know, sometimes we have to go down that track, okay? But I've grown out of it. It's taken me a really, really long, long time, but I haven't gone deep within. I hadn't looked deep within myself, and focused on myself, and seen the issues within myself not till a few years ago. Okay, I was loving the party scene. I was loving drinking, and now I think about it, it was a stage in my life that I needed to go through, and I don't take any of it back, even though there are some moments where you were like, it was terrible, obviously, but you look at it as a lesson being learned in life. I don't want to go down that path again. As much as it is nice to have fun and all that, I'm not going to be some vanilla, obviously. I still like having fun and stuff like that, but I don't need to be in another state of mind. Even when you're drinking, you're in this state of mind. It's not even your state of mind. It's like this unable state of mind. You can't even do anything. You can't control yourself. I want to be able to control who I am. I hated who I was. Like, even though I felt free and I was honest and I was living life, partying and living life and that, afterwards I felt like crap. Afterwards I was embarrassed of who I was, and I didn't want that anymore. I wanted to be proud of who I am. I didn't want to feel ashamed of who I am. And, I am still a happy person. I still live life. I am still living with integrity. I am true to my honest self. I am being who I am. Nothing's holding me back. I'm still living life even though I'm not partying. You know what I mean? So only now, the last few years, I have healed. I'm not healed completely. There is always plenty of room for improvement. Your journey in spirituality lasts the lifetime. It's an ongoing lesson, challenge, teaching. Substances aren't medicine to trauma as much as it does help. And I know the experience, as I have just talked about. It's hard to let go of substances. Trust me, it took me a long time to push alcohol out of my system. Like, I still like having a drink, obviously. It's the holidays, I'll have a few drinks at night. But normally during the week, I push myself not to have any drinks. It's sort of something that is, it's something that is like a prize at the end of the week for me. It's not something that's like a constant thing for me now. I look at it like a prize kind of thing, like something I deserve. And I have this thing now, once I start getting too unable to control unable to control myself, I start getting a bit in my mind, and I stop drinking because I don't like being not in control of who I am. Okay, so ways of coping with loss. Ways of coping with loss: exercise, fresh air helps the mind function, helps the blood flow in your body. Eating healthy, water, fresh air, as I just said, talking with caring friends and family, your unconditionals, the people that I feel are your probably immediate family. It's harder to talk to friends. Sometimes friends don't understand the concept or where you're coming from. They don't care as much. You've got some friends that don't really care. Like, they care, but they don't. You know what I mean? So I feel like when it comes to grieving with loss, it's better to talk to someone that's a professional or your immediate family, getting therapy. Try not to make major changes while you're coping with the loss. Just dealing with healing. I don't know, maybe I should make that like a little saying, dealing with healing. That is so funny. It probably isn't that funny, but I think it's funny. Join a grief support program if you want to. I didn't. I didn't do much. I was a kid. So I did do some therapy when I was older. But I feel like I don't know. Who knows? I might talk to somebody later in life. My life isn't over yet. It still does affect me. It's nice to talk to people. I feel sometimes, though, bringing up those old memories and that, like, as I showed before, like, it does bring in emotions, and sometimes, like, avoiding those emotions, but always remembering the person positively, I feel is better for your mental health. I don't like bringing up the past. I don't like looking back because it brings up that hurt, it brings up those what ifs, why didn't. Looking at the good memories of this person that you have lost, you don't need to look at the bad memories with them. If you love this person so much and they're your immediate family or whoever they are, all those old memories of the bad, like, don't even matter to you. Okay? Talk to your doctor. Your doctor is there to help you. They help your body and they help your mind, okay? They want to be there to help you. They will push you in the right direction. Normally, when you need to go see a therapist or a psychologist or something like that, you do need a referral anyway from your doctor. So seeing your doctor first is the best way to go. He can also prescribe you medications if need be, and push you in the right direction. I love my doctor. Doctors are amazing. I love doctors. I give credit to doctors. It is such a hard thing to do. It takes so much time to do. I am not someone that can cut somebody open and blood be going everywhere. It's just not my thing. I heal without cutting somebody open. So, I give credit to them. I love who they are. When I was pregnant, they are my savior. They looked after me. I could have died. My daughter could have died. Complications happened in my pregnancy. But if it wasn't for the doctors, the doctors, they're amazing at what they do. Anyways, I'm getting off subject as I normally do. Be patient with yourself. Everything takes time. And I'm still healing. This happened to me when I was 16 years old. This has happened over 20 years ago. It still affects who I am at times, okay? I'm still dealing with the traumas. I'm healing from the traumas. I'm still healing, just like everybody is in life. You're still learning these lessons. You're still healing. You're growing as a person. With this coping with loss, my advice, I didn't do all these things straight away. As I said, I was a kid, okay? I didn't know how to deal with the loss. I also shut myself off from the world a lot, so I didn't really speak to my mum. I was living with my mum and my stepfather. I sort of just hibernated kind of thing. I didn't really talk to anybody about it. Okay, but talking to people does help, and I feel like that's probably why it's taken me so much longer to heal. I didn't have anybody there that was supporting me, that was standing by my side and was like, maybe we need to go talk to a therapist or something like that. So as I said, being there for people that are dealing with loss when at a young age or at an older age, no matter what at the age, just being there for that person and being that ear. They may need to talk to you about needing to talk to somebody else, and you can help push them into that direction. But just being there for that person all the time is what they need, okay? Because they've lost someone that they thought was going to be there all the time and they're gone. Okay, so that's the least you can do if you love this person. You are never alone, okay? You are never alone. They have hotlines. You have your immediate friends, you have your immediate family and friends. You have the people around you. As much as you feel alone, there's always going to be someone there. I know I say that, and then people can be like, well, I don't have anybody there. I actually don't have anybody. I live all by myself. I don't have anybody around me. I have nothing, okay? But you don't. You have the divine. You can pray. I prayed a lot when I was a child. I feel that probably helped me deal with the loss of my father. Also, I used to pray to him every night after he passed away. I would talk to him. I would talk to God. I had a journal. I had like a diary. I don't know, I think that just paused. But I had a journal, I had a diary that I would write in. And now I'm thinking about it, I think I had a prayer that I wrote in the front of it that I used to look at all the time. So that did help me too. You were never alone, as I said. I had God, I had Dad. I was still praying to him all the time. Okay. How I coped. How I cope now, I think positive about it. I think of all the positive things. I think about memento mori, living my best life, being honest, living in integrity, knowing that Dad is always looking over me. 444, the number of protection and stability, knowing that my father is always here with me, even though he's not here in the 3D world. Everything is connected. I also feel like rejection is protection. That is Daddy looking over me, protecting me from bad things that could be happening in my life, because my life is really good. I'm having a good life. Life is good. I love my life. I am having faith in my Father protecting me and everything I do right now, because things are looking up and I love him so much and I love my life. And as I said, I love my life. I'm going to live my life in with integrity. I am not going to hold back, even if I do live my life in integrity and it does do something negative, at least I lived with integrity. At least I was my true honest self, and I didn't hold nothing back. And now I can move on from that situation if that was negative. Okay. Knowing that they are always there, I made an altar for my father where I've got his photo on. I light a candle every day. I try and light a candle all the time. I also have a glass of water. Okay, the glass of water is helping protect me. That's me and him connecting in spirit. I also like to burn some type of incense. Google what you can have on your altar. It's really what you want. There can be things that he or she, that person liked. I love to have a photo. I love to always connect with the altar. Have it somewhere where you always walk past, where you'll always see it. Talk to them daily. Talk to these people daily. I'm going to get to the conclusion now because I am running over time. Death happens in everyone's life. It's just how we cope is the difference. No, we are meant to live life. So live life to the fullest. Memento mori. So that's my conclusion to all of this. Okay, it happens to everybody. It's just how we deal with it is how it affects our life. Whether we deal with it positively or negatively, we're going to deal with it both ways, okay? Because that's part of grieving. It's negative, but it's also positive. Live life to the fullest. I feel that's what my biggest message is with overcoming loss, is that you get that message out of it to live life to the fullest because you don't know when life is over. I did have a health scare a couple years ago. I was actually thinking about it the other day, maybe yesterday, about it. Okay, I had a health scare with my breast, and it made me look at life a lot differently. Okay, it made me think I need to live life. What have I been doing? I really need to push myself. So these things, these scares can also really put you into that frame of mind. But memento mori, like live your best life. You will die at some time in this life, so don't hold back. You know, you don't want to get to 80 and be like, I wish I'd done that. I wish I did this. I wish I'd done that. Because you can't do it at that age. So do it now. I love you all so much. Thank you all for listening to my podcast and listening to me cry before. But it just shows what type of person I am. I'm a true, honest, authentic person. I do want to help you overcome your loss. We are all here to help each other. I hate negativity. I really do. I want people to help each other, okay? And I want to help you. I love you so much for being here and supporting me. Thank you for supporting me on my podcast and my channel and everything I do, because whoever's here is obviously my fan or my support, and I'm your fan. Sorry, I'm your fan. My phone keeps pausing, but I love you all so much. I hope you all have a great life, overcoming this loss. Memento mori, and we will talk again soon. Bye-bye.